All right, welcome back everybody, back with another quick little news of the day video here for you guys, keeping you guys up to date with everything that's been going on in the Dota 2 Pro circuit as per usual. Hopefully you guys are all doing well, and we got a few things to talk about, but before we get into it, as per usual, if you've noticed that I've missed anything on this board or on any boards that I've done over the past couple weeks, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. Try to make sure that it is something that has been confirmed, and if you want to check out anything that I talk about in this video, everything has been linked down below in the description, as well as the link to our Discord server. If you want to check any of those out, feel free to. And of course, if you don't want to miss any more uploads, any more news updates, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell, and if you enjoy the video, like and share it. It goes a long way. And thank you guys so much for watching. So yes, we finally get some news out of Western Europe, which has been shockingly quiet over the past month, which it's kind of crazy to think it's already been a month since the end of TI 11, but time really does fly. But yeah, Western Europe has been pretty quiet over the past little bit, and even though they are in the news today, it's really nothing all that crazy, I gotta say. It's either going to be a very, very busy next couple weeks before the roster lock, or Western Europe is going to look largely the same as what it did last season. First little bit of news, and this one is one that I was a little surprised about, and that is that Nigma Galaxy has parted ways with rmN. rmN has been with this team, with the stack of players, for over 3 years. He was with them when they founded Nigma Galaxy, or at the time just Team Nigma, and he has parted ways with the team. Looks like it was an amicable split. He left the team wanted to go separate ways. We still don't know which direction Nigma Galaxy is going to be going for this upcoming season. Lots of rumors regarding Kuroki possibly retiring, some big changes to the roster, wanting to rebuild around Sumail and Miracle, maybe GH in the mix. But as of right now, this is all we've got. So we'll see what Nigma Galaxy ends up going from here, who they end up getting as a coach. There are some pretty big name players still floating around that could come in and coach for this squad. But yeah, overall, just excited to see where this team ends up going and what they're going to end up looking like by the time the season actually does kick off. Next little bit of news, and this one's coming up from Team Secret, and yet again, it's kind of strange. It's a bit of anti-news where they're just announcing that a lot of their roster is staying the same. In fact, they announced on Twitter individually per player which ones were going to be staying. Those were going to be Resolution, Crystallis, Zayak, and Puppy, as well as Coach Heen. The only one that has yet to be announced so far is Nisha, which is a little strange that this could go one of two ways. Either they announce that he's going to be staying with the team and he's the last one of the bunch, and overall this announcement feels kind of lackluster because they went through all this trouble just to say that their team is going to be the same for this year, which is totally fine. They had a great run at TI. Makes sense that why they would want to keep the roster together. I think they do have something pretty great. Or they announced that Nisha's not going to be a part of the team, and then they had all this build-up to then announcing that their best player, and I'm going to say that Nisha is the best player on the team. I know Puppy obviously is a legend, of course, but by individual skill, Nisha carries the team a lot of the time. And if all of this is leading up to an announcement that Nisha will not be with the team anymore, that'll also feel kind of weird. So overall, this is a strange situation. We'll see what Secret's going to end up looking like in a couple weeks as well. We do know that a majority of the team will be sticking together. Will Nisha be there with them when the new team is coming into next season? It'll be interesting to see. And I'll jump right over to the last story here because it is in Western Europe as well. And that is just a story regarding Peksu, who over the past few months was playing with Goon Squad. He has since left that roster. He actually announced on Twitter that he's going to be stepping away from Pro Dota for this season, and it could very likely turn into a full-on retirement, making a lot of thank yous to other players and community members throughout the DBC, which it'd be a real shame to see him leave the scene, but overall just sounds like he's not as into the game anymore. And if that's the case, if he's walking away for that reason, just overall best of luck to you, Peksu. It'd be great if he ended up coming back to the scene, making a comeback, joining a team that had a lot of potential. But either way, I understand why he's stepping away, and I just hope that he has a good time off. If it is just limited, if it is permanent, regardless, best wishes to you, Peksu. Okay, now let's move over to China, where we have PSG.LGD announcing that they're going to be parting ways with XinQ for the reason that he just would not wash his face. I believe that it had been a few matches, specifically at TI, where he was not washing his face, and the team just could not hold on to him any longer. They had to cut ties with him, and he's going to be hitting the open market. I am obviously joking. XinQ, fantastic player. Very surprised that PSG.LGD is going to be parting ways with him. He has had a lot of those standout games that you see on position 4 players, again, specifically with PSG.LGD, where this position 4 player just absolutely takes over the game. XinQ is totally capable of that. He is absolutely going to be getting picked up by another team if he wants it heading into next year. Going to be a matter of who. And now PSG.LGD, 2 slots to fill heading into this season, both of them in their off lane, that being the position 3 and the position 4. Going to be really interesting to see which direction they end up going. Old 11 just became available, so maybe he ends up joining the team. He had a pretty solid past year with Extreme Gaming, so yeah, we'll see where PSG.LGD goes from here. Will they still be the top dog in China as they have been for the past, like, what, 4 years now? I know in, like, 2019, Vici Gaming was probably the #1 Chinese team for most of that year, but at TI, it's always PSG.LGD every single time. So will another Chinese team dethrone them this year? I'm kind of hoping so, because I do like having that competitiveness and not having the same team there every time. But at the same time, it is pretty remarkable how long these guys have been this freaking good. So yeah, we'll see how that ends up going. Okay, moving quickly over to North America before we end things off in Southeast Asia, we have some news that Moonmeander has been moved to the coaching position for TSM FTX. This was a pretty surprising bit of news, because overall I thought TSM had a fantastic roster. It feels like they really gelled together, and they're kind of dismantling that a little bit by taking Moonmeander out of that supporting role and into coaching. But overall, not a terrible move. He's still going to be with the team, and if he feels like this is the right next step, then that's great for him. We'll see how that ends up going. He had, again, a fantastic year. I think he's got a lot of great ideas. Their drafts overall for TSM FTX have been one of the reasons why this team has been able to climb the ranks in North America and get themselves a name, get themselves to majors, despite the fact that there's only 2 slots and you're competing against evil geniuses for one of them, who, of course, for the longest time was the face of North America, although not anymore. So yeah, TSM FTX now having a role to fill as well. They're going to need a new position 4 unless we see some sort of role swaps, although I find that kind of unlikely, but who knows? We'll have to end up seeing when the time comes. So yeah, still a lot of movements to come so far in North America that we just have not really seen. So again, it's either going to be a really, really busy next couple weeks, or it's going to be kind of lackluster and kind of quiet, and maybe just a couple players move around here and there. Okay, and ending off in Southeast Asia, we now have our new roster for GeekFam that is going to be coming into this next DPC season. They're kicking off with a roster that kind of caught me off guard a little bit, specifically Skem playing position 1. Not exactly what I expected, coming from Boom playing support role over the past year and a bit, and now he's going to be coming in to play some core. We also have him, and I'm going to just call him Cokes for now, because I refuse to admit that this guy actually named himself Cox. But regardless, we have Force, rmN, and Raj filling out that roster. Best of luck to these guys. Hopefully they end up putting together some pretty good games over the next little bit. GeekFam, of course, an org making their reintroduction into the Dota 2 Pro circuit. Let's hope that they have a better time this time around and they're actually able to stick around for a majority of this next season, or at least the whole thing, and maybe beyond that. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to hit the like button. And of course, if you don't want to miss any more news updates just like this one, be sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell so you're always notified whenever I upload. Check out the links in the description for anything I talked about in this video if you're at all curious, as well as the link to the Discord server. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you guys very shortly with some more news.